thing and all that stuff.
Right. She can't get on.
Live.
She can't get on.
It says live.
Oh, hey, we live. Hey, everybody, what's good? What's good? This is Coach Terri Bryant out of Lexington, Kentucky. This is my husband, Coach Bryant, and
out of Lexington, Kentucky. That's what he said.
And we are football coaches, and this is Hits and Heels. We started Hits and Heels almost 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And we started it just to have a voice for as a female coach. And then my coworker got a dream job, and so she wasn't able to stay on. And so we kind of transitioned Coach Bryant onto the podcast because
he
had a choice. He just likes to be on here because what used to happen is if he wasn't on, he'd be hating on me. But that's okay.
I don't know about that.
But that's okay. We fixing that. So anyway, so it is March, and we got a lot of things going on in March. It's March Madness is coming up.
Region tournaments
and basketball. With basketball and the high school levels. And so
Spring football UK.
Spring football UK. Right now the women's SEC tournament is going on. I think the ACC tournament, all the women's tournaments I think are going on right now. And then another week I think all the men's tournaments start.
Yeah, it's
already it's already right. And then next Sunday, Selection Sunday? I think so. My calendar. I believe next Sunday.
Selection.
No, Selection Sunday is not until the 16th because we got to do the men's tournament first. But September Sunday the 16th. It's $5, Coach Bryant. So the 16th is Selection Sunday. We're looking forward to that. But what I do want to do is just talk about Women's Herstory Month. Herstory. Okay. It's not his story. Okay, it's her story.
Why are you going her story? It was me who said what? What did I say do?
What you said that we was gonna touch on all the women,
all the ladies
that we've had on the show.
Right. I mean, yeah, okay.
and just do a recap so that you guys can kind of go back through and kind of catch the replays on some of that because we've had some really absolute fantastic women on our show. Hey, Auntie, love you too.
Hey, Aunt.
And so,
and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's
some powerhouses on there.
There they go.
There's some powerhouses on there. We've had some absolute fantastic guests.
That's influence coaching, influence young ladies, young girls to grow up to be young ladies, and it's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, it really is. It's the way it's supposed to be. It's exciting. I guess before we start doing this list, go ahead and talk about the camp coming up.
Oh, absolutely. So one of the things that I am absolutely, positively, totally proud of is the Building Lives Through Sports Network has helped the state of Kentucky to have a camp. And it's actually a 3-sport camp, which that doesn't happen. Multi-sport camps don't happen. So this is probably one of the first across the nation because most are just single camps. But this is a multi-sport camp. But it's going to include girls flag football, boys football, and cheerleading. And it's the girls flag football that I'm the most excited about because flag football is the fastest growing sport in America right now. Just recently, I gotta tell you. So just recently, I think it was the ACC. It's like the ACC. Let me pull it up. The AAC, something like that. They have. They just are the first. Hold on. They're like the first league. The Atlantic East becomes the first NCAA conference to launch varsity women's flag football, which is huge. And then, my Dallas Cowboys just sponsored 100 teams in the state of Kentucky for girls flag football. And anyway, but this camp is going to be very, very powerful because we actually have some college coaches coming in. I think there might be, and they're going to be able to offer scholarships to young ladies. So I'm a coach with the Derby City Dynamite out of Louisville, Kentucky. They're the only women's tackle football team in the state of Kentucky, and the only team that has brought the state of Kentucky from a professional point of view, a national championship to the state. Those players, some of those players will be coming and helping with some of the drills. And I'm just so excited about that. I know it don't seem like I'm excited about that, but I am actually excited about that. And so I do have, what I like, this is the thing that I'm excited about and what I'm trying to manifest. So like in the state of Georgia, so we had Tiffany Smith on not too long ago, and she's a flag football coach in Georgia. And she stated that the owner of the Falcons actually funded the whole state of Georgia for girls flag football. And then the Panthers owner funded the whole state of North Carolina for girls flag football. And this is like the high school teams, right? So there are only 14 teams that have been sanctioned to allow girls flag at the high school level. And so I'm kind of spearheading or trying to spearhead. I'm partnering with people like the Building Lives Through Sports Network to try to bring girls flag to the state of Kentucky. Because state of Kentucky, we always last to do stuff. We always last and we're always on the bottom of the list. So right now there are 14 teams and I'm trying to be at least the top 20. So I hope we're in the top 20 as far as teams that actually bring on flag football. And let me tell you something. What one of my friends, Carlos Collins, who's a part of this, was up at the combine in Indianapolis, and he ran into his boy Chad Pennington.
Oh, Penn
got us some helmets our first year.
Yeah,
helped us out.
And not just that, but he brought home a state championship football this past year.
Yes,
and which doesn't happen very often.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy, great guy. Played in the NFL.
Yes,
and played for a while. So please.
Mm-hmm. And so it was just funny because he was just talking about how girls flag football came up. The subject came up, and Cisco Bryant's name came up. And Chad Pennington said, Cisco Bryant is connected to everybody.
That was nice.
He said he's got all the connections. I said, yeah, I've been trying to get him to use his connection for years, but it's like pulling teeth. But anyway, I just thought it was just so sweet that that Coach Pennington brought you up and said just how connected you are. And I thought that was sweet. I don't know. Can y'all hear? Yeah. Because I had the microphone a little bit far away, so I got it back up now. But yes, I thought that was good stuff, Coach Bryant.
Yeah, but it was so nice. He's there, and he's also talking about the flag football for young ladies. And even if you didn't know, because he has all boys, mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes you just don't know what's going on. And everybody assumes because it's something they're excited about that everybody's going to get excited about. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you got to give them a reason to be excited about it.
Absolutely.
Because you remember, back in the day when I coach and my saying, and it's hard to motivate high school kids, because I'm coaching baseball at Bryant Station. It's hard to motivate young people. And we used to say, get the crowd into it.
Oh, gotcha.
And sometimes that's what you got to do when you are trying to promote something. You got to get the crowd into it. Mm-hmm. You got to get them talking. And you can put up a banner, you can put up a billboard, but if you get the opportunity to spread the word with your mouth, it seems to go farther.
Gotcha.
and quick because everybody's got to say so or voice, and it's actually pretty good. So again, Coach Pennington, and if you don't know who he is, you Google him. He's an unbelievable person. I mean that, unbelievable person.
Unbelievable.
And his lovely wife as well. They are a fan of sports, both of them.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. I was just making sure I was sharing everywhere. We're live on several places. We're on my Hits and Heels page, we're on my personal page, we're on my LinkedIn page, and we're on YouTube. So if you guys are on, I prefer you all watch off of YouTube so we can kind of streamline that a little bit more. Anyway, Coach Bryant, so where do you want to start? Because we don't never use a script.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You had this, and I will time in because it's what's it called again? What did you call it?
Oh, it's Women's Herstory Month. Herstory, not his story.
Okay, again, we heard you. All right, Herstory Month, which is fantastic. So we're gonna go on the list here, and we're gonna say a few things about players and ladies that was on it. And I know this is a moment thing, but read some of them and let people know. I mean, because it is truly amazing the ladies that you've had on your show. It really is. It's exciting, different perspectives on different sports and different ideas and that excites me. That excites me. And I think the other day I was sitting in the room and I was watching ladies, basketball.
Yeah, the SEC
and then hold, go back. Let's go back to you making a comment. First time I went to a UK ladies Cats game, I saw that. That was a dig. But what am I normally doing on Sundays when they're playing? What do
baseball?
I do? I'm coaching baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, she's good at that. That's the old coach. With that guy. So
hey, Mr. Brown.
So my point is, hey, Mr. Brown. So go ahead and go down your list and on the list.
Mr. Brown, who's been your favorite female guest on? So of course I liked Thelma Banks, the owner of DCD Thelma Kennedy was the owner of DCD, was our very first guest as far as having a guest outside of Danny and I. And of course I wanted to promote the Derby City Dynamite. She did a great job. I'm trying to think. I've had Nicole, which is one of the players on there. But my top, I'm not gonna lie, Miss Snead was your favorite. Yeah. So my top, my cousin, Miss Snead was my favorite. She dropped some gems on that. So for those that didn't see that show with Jane Snead, her son is Jadarius Snead, and he was the corner on the two championships that the two Super Bowl championships that the Kansas City Chiefs had, because they lost this one. So the two previous one that they won, he was the starting corner and he locked down everybody that were good. So the best receivers, he had them on lockdown. Well, it was time for him to get paid. And so the Titans decided to go ahead and then pay him. And he got his second contract, which was a large contract. And then he ended up going to the Titans. Of course, the Titans didn't do really, really well. And I believe he was dealing with an injury this past season. And I did get to go see a Titans game this past season. My Derby City Dynamite team had played after that game. And so I got to go sit with Jane Snead and a lot of the family members. They took up literally like a whole row at the stadium. And so they had a lot of family that was supportive. Yeah, that was a good one, Mr. Brown. Thank you. But my top 10 are anybody that dealt with Layshaw. So Jennifer Jones, the owner of and co-owner and co-founder of the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. And then we followed that up with with Connie Rayford, who is the board chair for the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. And then we had a couple of the inductees from the Lexington African Hall of Fame. We had like Leslie Nichols, we had Tracy Davis, we had Michelle Johnson, we had Victoria Gay. And if you don't know who Victoria Gay is, hers was really good because she hasn't been on the scene. She was jazzed with the American Gladiators. Yeah. So, so that show has been gone for a long time. She said over 20 years. So it was just great to be able to see her. She still looks absolutely fantastic. And then I've had, then from there, I think my favorite, of course, is Jamesetta Cleveland, probably one of my besties. She's like the NIL guru. She owns the Sports Mom University, helps a lot of families with the recruiting process, and I like that. And then from there, I'm trying to think. Oh no, from there, the female coaches. So I had a couple of female coaches. I've had like 3 female football coaches. So Coach Blair Clark is the head female coach. Is the head coach for a female tackle football team out of Atlanta, the Atlanta Rage. And her defensive coordinator, Coach Marlene Davis, was on. And there's not a lot of women that are coordinators, and she's a defensive coordinator. And she's also been a defensive coordinator on the international level because our women's tackle football team actually plays internationally. And then I had, wait a minute, who was it? Oh, Coach Ebony Pugh. Sorry, Ebony. Coach Ebony Kimbrough. So Coach Ebony Kimbrough is out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and she is the only coordinator in the D2 football period, right? And she's the special teams coordinator for Livingstone College, and it's an HBCU down in North Carolina. But let me tell you something. Who is the GOAT is Monique Smith. Like Monique Smith is like, if you're a woman and you have a desire to work in sports, when I tell you she is connected to everybody. So she used to be an athletic director, and she just connected with everybody when it comes to sports. And what she did was she created her own. She created her own magazine that she did feature me in, and it comes out monthly, and she features a lot of great women that are in the sports industry, which is absolutely unbelievable. And then let me talk about my girl Maria Barber. So she is out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and she has started her own women's flag. It's a girls and a women's flag league, and she's the commissioner over that. So, I kind of lean towards her as far as getting some advice on what to do when in the event that we're ready to start our league here. But I don't, Coach Burbridge is going to take care of that, and I just don't have no problem. He's not going to need no help with that.
And Bird.
Right.
Well, and as you ran down the list, and you actually ran down it fast. You should.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Because each of the ladies deserve, a little bit about what they did, and then also if you take a moment. When I'm sitting there, we're flipping the paper back and forth, so we apologize for the noise. Yeah. But it is exciting, and knowing, and a lot of times, again, like one of my favorites, of course, is going to be Rachel Klinker. Oh, of course, she's like a niece to us. Yes, and then she is out of Tates Creek High School, and she swims for Cal, or used to swim. Now she's professional. She's professional. She had an opportunity to try out for the Olympics. And that's big time, right there. That's big time. That's not local. That's not your YMCA swim team. Absolutely, she's big time. And she's big time. And one of my favorites is a real close friend, and that is Erica Jackson. Yeah, she came in and did a cameo. But we're going to have her on longer, and she's the assistant coach at George Rogers Clark and former University of Kentucky basketball player out of Henry Clay High School, and and every one of them, we're not
because there's
pushing
so many
people down left or right. Every young lady and women, if you will, that came onto the program
have been absolutely amazing.
Something amazing
Yes.
to the go.
Yes.
And that is, as you can tell, my wife is very excited, emotionally excited about women getting their due.
Flowers.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And I think that's why I like the podcast the most, is being able to give. Like for me, I really didn't have a voice anywhere, but it allowed me to even get my voice out. And I think that the level of connections that I've been able to make since I've created the podcast has been amazing. Like I'm looking at his now, Susan Montero. Yeah. She created the Black Women Love Football group.
Yeah, love football.
There are like 40,000 women in that group.
Well, and also it's a cute. And I don't really mean the word cute, but yes, I'm gonna use the word cute. Conversation piece.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It really is a conversation, because let's take a moment off this page here and talk in the house for a second.
Okay.
All right. I walk into the house and the combine is going on, and they're running and jumping, and all of a sudden we're watching the DBs, and Max runs at 4.2. He's flying, and I'm like, okay, cool. Walker, big man, he does his little thing, lost some weight, look
good.
And then all of a sudden we're watching it, and 1 hour goes by, and 2 hours, and 3 hours, and 9 hours, and she's still watching it. And so I get up and I move on into the other room, and I come back, and she's still watching it the next day. And my point is to everybody that hears this moment here is she, Terri is not a fluke. Coach Bryant, she's not a fluke. She loves football, and she loves ladies that loves football and want to be a part of that. That is flag football, tackle football, love
watching the game.
Mm-hmm. And that's what makes me excited about it, because I don't really watch football like that.
No, you only watch your 49ers or Kentucky.
Yeah, and let's Roll Tide's playing, and
you watch
Ohio State. I watch Ohio State, and I watch good teams.
Okay,
that plays good team. Now, a good team is playing who.
Yeah, you're not interested.
I'm not interested, but you would watch it.
I would watch it.
I
would watch it. But anyway, so but the thing about the Black Women That Love Football group is, I've met more women in that group that supported me. So I was doing a contest that I was trying to win this $25,000 grant from, and I got the absolute most support from the women out of that group, and there's probably about 10 of them that I can't wait to meet them in person. And I'm going to be meeting them in July at our meetup in Cleveland, because I'm hosting a class with my girl Natola Hawthorne, who I haven't mentioned, but she was one of my guests. So Natola.
Okay, I don't know if you'll see my cup. God rest his soul. All right, I'm being Johnny Carson now. I did not know that. Okay, all righty.
Oh my goodness!
Did not know that.
Hey, Stacy.
Hey, Stacy.
Yeah, and so so I can't wait to meet some of them and hug their neck and meet them in person and fellowship with them in person. But Natola Hawthorne was one of my favorite shows, because she's one of the very few Black females that not only is an umpire for baseball, but is also a football referee. And so, or official, a football official. I always mess that up. And so the ladies want us to do like a workshop where we'll demonstrate some things to help them learn the game. And so I'm looking forward to that, and I think that's going to be pretty fun. That's going to be fun.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I think what we'll do is we'll probably, set the girls up and then do like a play, and then, what is the, like do some rules. It'll be mostly like rules, like.
Right. What the thing is to teach them from the beginning, and you got to start at A. Is the first thing is, X's and O's. Like the question is, what goes on top? The offense when you rooting the X or the O's. The X's goes on top. They know the pen. X's go on top. That's defense. Goes on top. The O's goes on the bottom.
Stacy said she's in good hands, Coach Bryant.
Thank you, Stacy. I'm glad you knew about it. Thank you very much. Because hold up, and that's one of my things is you're my world, and I don't want you somewhere and people don't appreciate your worth, and so I know you'll go up there and wow them.
I hope so. I hope so.
You will.
Yeah, I hope so. But anyway, so and then of course I have my favorite supporter, Mr. Brown, on, and Mr. Brown reminded me about Valerie Steele being on, and Valerie Steele is like the all-time. This is acting stupid. Is like the all-time record holder for rebounds and scoring for men or women at the University of Kentucky.
Well, back in the day, that was the thing in the before the phones came out. That was the talk. Who is the all-time leading scorer in UK basketball history? And people will say Dan Issel.
Yeah.
And then people say, excuse me, no, she's not. No, he's not. It's
Valerie Steele.
Which her brother Art Steele played here. He was All-American and went to the pros. He played football here at the University of Kentucky, and that's Art Steele. So what a family. It sort of reminds me of the Millers.
Cheryl and
it was Cheryl. Did you hear Cheryl's statement
about the one about how she why she stopped playing?
No, she said she stopped playing against him.
Yeah, stopped playing against him.
Oh my God,
it's hilarious. Yeah, I was rolling too. Okay. Now, by the way, I just got to remind you because I know you didn't forgot. So she is
who's she?
Valerie Steele and her brother Art have a function this Friday.
This Friday.
It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. But we're going Friday night.
Okay.
And then there's going to be like, like a meet and greet afterwards and that type of stuff. But it's something that's honoring their family. So their family is very historic. And when it comes to actually Black history, and they're honoring their family at the Lexington Opera Center this weekend.
Yeah, which is pretty good. It's going to be a lot of hoo-hoos.
It will be a lot of because I think Friday's the first night too. So I think that first night will be because that's what the meet and greet is. So
yeah,
I can't wait to see who we run into because I love taking selfies with all the beautiful people.
So yeah, okay. So and there's been a long time. I can't remember the last time I actually seen Art Steele. It's been
really?
Been a long time because he didn't play when I played.
He was before. Yeah,
but it's been a long time. I think I might have been either. Wow, it's in the 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he didn't come back here. Well, he went into the league, played for Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Now but he wouldn't be in my circle.
Yeah, gotcha. I see what you're saying. If he comes back in town, you wouldn't see him. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Speaking of that, what a reunion we had this weekend.
Oh yeah, and we're switching the
subject
a little bit. So, my saying in this house is called subject change. Okay. And we were fortunate, very fortunate, to get a phone call 2 weeks prior that George Adams, Lafayette's great, and University of Kentucky, and
Lexington African American Sports Hall of Famer.
And I was going to say that. And played for the Giants, and then ended up with the Patriots, and I always said one of the biggest trivia questions is name a player that actually played in the NFL with an unofficial hip. And that would be George Adams, not Bo Jackson. Because Bo Jackson did not go back to football when he got hurt like that. He went back to baseball. But George Adams, and all of a sudden he was blessed to have a young man that I have been a fan of for a while. And then I told you I was so giddy to meet that young person, and it was Jamal Adams, because I was fortunate.
Oh, I was so hyped.
Well, I was fortunate to coach George's older son, excuse me, here in Lexington as Pete Adams had played baseball, and then the other son is assistant basketball coach at Bryant Station, and George has done well with his siblings. They're outstanding.
Over his children.
I mean, his children, not his siblings. So.
Oh, you good? I got you, babe.
Okay, so that was pretty good.
That was pretty good. It was,
and the mom
and his wife, Michelle.
Michelle.
Yes, absolutely.
And just beautiful people and small world. And I sometimes I forget to put two and two together. And I was Q's mom, which is his sister, and that I coached at Bryant Station, and my brain didn't think, oh, that's George's sister, And we hung out a little bit, not very much, and Ty got to hang out with him, and
got the sort of facility. And
yeah, outstanding. I mean, George Adams is still George. He will crack a joke on you. You got to be ready.
And then while we ran into them, our nephew Jasper Johnson was on his official visit.
Yes, he was.
Well, everybody's our nephew.
Well, Jasper is coming to play basketball at the University of Kentucky, and which his dad, and then his brother, his uncle, Derek and Dennis both played football for UK, and so that was exciting to see them, and so
that was good. It was a good weekend.
It was. It really was. It was
a good weekend.
It was a great.
Now I do want to go back to we're done with that. I want to go back to a subject change. And Mr. Brown had a really good question earlier. And Mr. Brown, I'm going back to your question now.
Mr. Brown, that's shocking. You having a good question? Never happened before.
There seems to be that coaches are not interested in coaching youth sports for various reasons. Can you give your thoughts on these changes? Because parents are ignorant.
Wow, hold up. Okay, Mr. Brown, that is a great question.
Great question.
But the thing is, they're not. Here's okay. All right. You want to go without the? Let me just say this. Okay. In this day and age, this is not the 80s and the 90s.
What that mean?
The passion of team is a lot of time not there anymore. I mean, the game is becoming me, myself, and I. What is my saying all the time is, we're not going Bobby Brown. My team is not going to have a solo person. We're going to be a team led by the better player. And that's just life. But parents sometimes lose it is because they feel they're doing the best for their child. And they overcompensate that moment.
Okay.
And I really truly believe, because they're not trying to hinder their child. They're trying they really believe their perception is their reality.
Yeah. And their perception is that they always think that their child is better than what they are.
Well, and it's hard
because I'm like that with my child.
But it's hard not to think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But sometimes they get a little bit carried away, and that's when you need someone to say stop. It's sort of like, I'm not doing the comparison. One's more devastating than the other, and that's drunk driving.
Yeah. You
need someone to step in and just
take the keys.
Take the keys, and then someone say, close your mouth. You're doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, Mr. Brown, that's a great question, and it's and then I'm gonna be quiet and let the wife her part. I truly believe it's the time we live in. I really believe that it's the time we live in, and I've been blessed to be on this earth a long time and coach and officiate, umpire. It's just different. It's just and that's just the way it is. In education field, the same way. It's just different now.
That's what I just said, Stacey. They ignorant, but I believe I also
What'd you
agree with
say?
she said they ignorant.
Well,
But that's what I said, Stacey, that they ignorant. But and a lot of them, this is part of it too, Stacey. A lot of them are trying to relive their childhood through their children.
relive their childhood
or
what they did
live vicariously
Yeah,
through their child because they weren't able to be
but that's
who
always
they
been
were.
the case.
Yeah.
That's been the case since the 60s, the 50s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. I mean, there's a lot of parents that do that.
There's no level of respect to me.
What's that?
It's just level of it's the disrespect for me.
Okay, clarify.
The disrespect as far as
Real serious right there, didn't she? I was like,
the disrespect, like the lack of communication, or not following directions, or not
we talking about the parent or
the parents.
Yes.
Like the parents don't follow directions, and then we wonder why the kids don't follow directions, because
Right.
we have to babysit the parents probably a lot of times just as much as or we have to break it down, because I don't know how many times where I've had to contact some parents that I trust and be like, did I put that in the group? And they was like, yes, coach, you were crystal clear. I said, was I clear? Or should I have rewritten? And they was like, no, we understood exactly what you was talking about. But there's always going to be somebody that doesn't, yes, they don't know how to communicate, that does not understand. And so my husband, when he doesn't put anything in the chat because he's straight to the point, bam, and he'll get mad at me because I'm so detailed with the information. And the reason why I'm so detailed is because there's still going to be somebody that's going to come in and be like, where's practice? Even though I crystal clearly said practice is going to be at this time on this date,
Okay.
at this location.
No. Okay. Wait a second. It's not.
But somebody will still ask a question about what was given in the information.
Right. Well, I think that's because that person hasn't read the information, and that person glanced at the information. Okay. And parents do that, man. I mean, how many times we've had a meeting, and my personality, if I'm talking in a meeting, and if you talk as a parent, will I not say something to you?
Yeah.
I'm going to say something because the parent beside them is trying to hear, and that other person is talking to someone.
But that's another example of what I'm talking about as far as like the level of disrespect,
And
because it happens a lot.
Ask more questions.
Yeah, because they're not paying attention, and then they end up missing something and asking the most questions because they're sitting in our parent meeting and they're talking instead of being quiet and listening.
And listen.
Right, and then we usually and then the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Yeah.
And their kids are usually the same way, very disrespectful. In practice, disruptive. We always got to repeat ourselves to them because they're not paying attention in practice.
Yeah. And it's nothing, I'm not sugarcoating, it's a fact. But like I keep saying, and I said it earlier in this podcast, I don't accept it because I'm not going to change the way I am, but I expect a parent to talk, 2 or 3 of them. I can always know who's the one's going to be talking. And the ones that listens is because they want to know that
the information. Absolutely.
I mean, and that was one of my things, when Ty played. If that coach was talking, I wanted to know exactly what he's talking about. And, but this day and age is tough. Remember,
going back to our original subject, he went back to that.
Okay. So, your comment on
no, it's just the disrespect, like Mr. Brown said. Like I said, just a fantastic question, because I know, the biggest part is, and then my biggest pet peeve, probably, especially when I was coaching girls basketball, was the parents coaching from the stands.
That's why I never coach basketball.
Listen, if I coach middle school, okay, so if I get them in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, middle school, and I'm still having to teach fundamentals, that means you didn't do anything to help them, to prepare them to get to that level. Don't start coaching them now that I got them, when you should have, when you had 11, 12, 13 years to already coach them. Stop trying to coach your kids then, when you've had 10, 15 years to already coach them before they get to high school, before they get to middle school. That's my biggest pet peeve on that. I'm just saying, because it's annoying, because again, we can't win as a coach. You can't win over the parent. So if a parent is constantly, like this on the sideline, the kid is looking up, and then we're given different directions, then it's different. I mean, was it our first year or second year? I think our second or third year, we had a parent, and he was teaching this kid one thing because that's what he thought, but it wasn't your system on defense.
And
it was hindering us.
It was
yes.
Because when real quick story, basically what happened was, he was teaching him, the kid would make the tackle, and I would say he can't make that tackle. Because if he makes that tackle, that coach is going to see him making that tackle, then he's going to block down and kick out. And the running back's going to come through untouched. And it was hard to make that parent understand.
Yeah.
It's a scheme. A defense is a scheme. And everybody has a job to do. And so I had to say something to that parent. Like, if you want to build your own school, and let your son be the star, which his son was pretty good. I'm not saying he wasn't, but with that said, is sometimes because I will say this, when we had our baseball meeting, Coach Eric Hagan had me get up in front of parents and talk about how to be a parent with my child. And I know for a fact, and I could be wrong, and if they're listening, you can text me or put it out here and we'll put it out there. I don't think I coached Ty when somebody else was coaching over him. I don't think I intervened with Ty. Ty never looked to the sideline at me. And I am a coach and might have more coaching experience
than a lot of the
coaches that was coaching him, and probably knew more than a lot of them. I'm not having a moment, but it's a fact. But when you give your child to a coach, you got to trust that coach's process. You have to, parents. I'm just telling you, you have to. And if you don't, that's where the child doesn't achieve his ultimate goal. So,
Stacey, I commend you both, because she said I can't do it. I'm not gonna lie, Stacey. Sometimes it is very. That's why I actually had quit for a while. Because I just got frustrated with, and I'm very passionate too. I probably do more for my players than what most coaches are willing to do. As far as just really going out of my way, loving these kids, and trying to have the best for them. But then when the parents don't match my energy on that, it's frustrating. And then especially if they have the audacity to question anything that I'm doing, or to be want to have some type of criticism or something like that. And I'm thinking, like, you don't know nothing about the game. Or again, I go back to, if you know so much, how come they didn't already know the information before they got to me?
Yeah.
They should already know. I shouldn't have to teach them fundamentals. I should just only thing I got to do is just teach them my offense, my plays on offense.
Right.
Because I shouldn't have to tell them about how to do any of the fundamental skills. And that was just what was frustrating for me. She said I left family, so I worked and went to seniors for that reason.
Well, and then my biggest thing is, and I think a lot of time parents think that they're doing you a favor.
Yeah.
You are teaching your kid. I'm teaching someone else's kid to get better.
Yeah.
I'm teaching them to get better. And not just as a sports person, but as a person. I'm teaching them character.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of stuff. And when coaches go out there and they coach at your child, they're teaching them way more. I think that the in ultimate comments is a lot of the kids that I've coached are now judges, doctors, lawyers. And when I see them, they be like, man, coach, thank you. And, the way you made us go full speed and stop punishment. And I just think that a lot of times parents don't get that,
But
because if I private train your child, I'm gonna charge you $65 an hour. Just keep that in mind. Now, my private training became a coach. So your kid is getting that lesson basically for free to make them better. So it is actually pretty.
And I think that was just a part of it too, was just I think the biggest thing too is parents that think that, oh, well, you're just not playing my kid and my kid is better. Why do y'all think that we're gonna play some kids that's not gonna help us to win?
Hey, what I tell? Hey, any kid that I coached, especially in the last 6 years and the last 30 years, I tell them, what's your number one job? And they say, make you look good, coach. Thank you. So I'm playing you.
I'm playing you.
If he making me look
You
good,
can play.
I've had some players.
We gonna play you.
I had some players coach, and they'll go, man, good call, coach. And I go, that wasn't me. That baby out there. But he made me look good as a coach.
All right. Anyway, we got off on a tangent a little bit, but let's go back to our. But it was a good. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But let's go back to our women's herstory. And Mr. Brown said, I remember the lady from her name was Sajai Taylor, Coach Sajai Taylor, and she actually just recently applied for a head football coaching job in California. And she did not get the job. And she's in the, I think that's how I met her, in the Black Women Love Football group. I met, and that's where I met also Natola, and also where I met Stacy. And so that group has actually, it's been such a blessing. Again,
Stacy,
like I said,
what
so Stacy Ferguson is from the Black Women. She's one of the admins from the Black Women Love Black Women Love Football group.
She's up there. High school.
Mm-hmm. That's Stacy.
How you doing?
Thanks. Yep. But yes, you said she said she knew Sloop and other celebrities and had mentored a lot of those kids out there. And she said she knew the Texas head coach and his wife, Sarkanian. Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Okay. Now there's some people on this that I'm like, how did I miss them? Like I feel bad.
Well, no, here's what I said to do, and you didn't do it.
What did I do?
I mean,
I went down the line.
You didn't do it. I said, go down the list and say everybody's name, because every one of these ladies deserve.
And yes, and y'all really should go back and watch a lot of now the
a lot of this,
the aesthetics and stuff. We didn't know what the heck we was doing like them first 2-3 seasons. I ain't know nothing about how to do none of this stuff. So the videos and stuff aren't that good, but the information is the bomb.
Okay, what I was getting at is not just all that. Is my point is a lot of these ladies, I didn't know who they were. So
you didn't know.
I mean, because it goes back to my saying, because you're passionate about something doesn't mean somebody else.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it makes people go, oh, I didn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't know
well,
that.
we can go down the list.
Go ahead. I mean, all it is we
go down the list.
Even if we double mention.
But I'll mention the name and then I'll let you know what they did. So
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, take two.
So we started off with Thelma Banks Kennedy. Well, Thelma Kennedy. She is the owner of the Derby City Dynamite, and she's also the center for the Derby City Dynamite. Then we had Christina Coleman. Christina Coleman at that time was a volleyball coach. She's coached at the college level. She has 2 sons that are absolutely fantastic that play ball for Frederick Douglass. The oldest one is going to Ball State University, and the youngest one is still in high school, and he plays football and basketball. And then we had Chantel Presley.
Yeah.
Chantel just recently got married and she's now pregnant with her son, but she played basketball professionally overseas. She went to Paul Laurence Dunbar here in Lexington, Kentucky.
EOD.
And she's a realtor and an entrepreneur. And then I had April Sams Bernard. I had April on because April was a beast. She ran track at LSU when LSU was the stuff, right? And so she also was an assistant coach here at Bryant Station for a while. She coached my daughter in high school for hurdles. So she was a hurdles, and she's married to one of the line dances. I forgot which one it was. And yes, her husband made up one of the famous line dances that we do.
Oh.
And that's who she's married to now, Mr. Bernard. And then we had Nicole Lockett. Nicole Lockett is one of the team captains, and she played both sides of the ball. She's the one of the quarterbacks, but she's a starting offensive tackle, offensive linebacker for the Derby City Dynamite. And then we had Dr. Delise Coffey. Oh. Listen, Dr. Delise Coffey is bad. Like, when you're talking about the mental part of the game, she's probably like my number one go-to as far as like mental health as an athlete, because sometimes as an athlete, when it's the end of your career, sometimes people really struggle with their identity on who they are when they're no longer that superstar athlete, and then figuring out life and that type of stuff. But there's a lot of mental stuff. So if you have a son or a daughter that's dealing with some mental things in the athletics, Dr. Delise Coffey is like the guru on who to go to for that.
I say that, and that takes place with a whole lot of people.
Yes,
because
even at an adult age,
right? But what I'm getting at is, babe, it takes place with a whole lot of people based on you're so used to somebody doing for you, and that's what it comes down to. So go ahead.
And then from there we had Jennifer Jones, who is the co-founder of the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame with her husband, Bobby Jones. And then we had Connie Rayford, who is the board chair for the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. And then I had them on right before our second gala. And so right after that, we followed up with Victoria Gay, who was jazz with the American Gladiators, who went to Bryant Station High School, was a 2-time state champion, and was was jazz with the American Gladiators. And then after that, I had Coach Naida Gurton, Naida is absolutely, she does a lot. She's is a co-founder, founder like we are with the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. She's coaching cheerleader and tumbling, has 2 beautiful daughters and been doing it for like 30 years. Oh, she was also doing swimming, and she teaches like a swim class at the YMCA for older women.
Well, the funniest part is her daughter hung out with me at the LSU basketball game. The girls' game. She was standing beside me. Yeah, I was like, dang.
Oh yeah, she sure was. Yeah, she was. She was. Yeah, she sure was. And then after that, we had Leslie Nichols. Leslie Nichols is from Lexington, born and bred in Lexington, and played at the University of Kentucky. She also became a coach under Bernadette Maddox at Kentucky. And now her and her husband own like a vineyard and horses, and you could buy their wine.
I love the husband thing, but that's
okay.
My roomie.
My bad, Mr.
Roomie.
Al Carter.
Thank you very much. But he was a running back at the University of Kentucky.
It was her. So I thought it was really cute that she played basketball, and then her husband was a football player. It's almost like the whole love and basketball story. I think that's a cute story. And so then I had Naida Gurton's daughter, Lobby Fraser, who you just said that you saw at the game. Lobby Lobby ran track with my daughter at Bryant Station High School. Then she went on to run at the University of Louisville. She was a beast. She's still a beast. And now she's a personal trainer. So if you want to lose weight and get it together and you live in Lexington, she's definitely one of the people that I would recommend. And then after that, we had Christy Thomas. So Christy Thomas is like a color commentator for the girls basketball team. She was like the person on the field. What do you call it? What's the name? It's a name. Sideline reporter at the UK football games. Her husband is the head softball coach at Frederick Douglass High School, and her son was a quarterback over at Hayes. Hayes, yeah. Really, really good. Yeah. So that's my girl, and she was real fun. And then I had Monique AJ Smith, who, like I said, was a sports administrator. She has this is her magazine right here. It's called Significance in Athletics and Sports. Is the name of her magazine. It's available on Amazon, and most of it is okay. So when her story is when she was in athletics as an athletic director, there would never be stories on other Black females. So, unfortunately, as a Black woman, we're always on the bottom of the totem pole sometimes. And so she created her own space so that she could recognize those women because they weren't getting recognized. Kind of like how we started the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. Okay. Then we had Fatima Warren, and Fatima's son just signed plays for Sayre. Played for Chad Pennington and also played basketball. And he's committed to the University of Louisville. Yeah. But she was a D1 basketball player out of California. And so when I had her on, we basically just talked about what it's like to be a D1 player and then produce a D1 player, go through that whole recruiting process. And we talked about like that. She's very fun. She's also on the board. She was on the board of a collective, but I think she's no longer on there because of the conflict of interest with her son when he started getting offers. And then I had my girl, Coach Patrice Bowman, and she's the CEO of the DC Divas. Now, Patrice is lost her son and has a foundation for him. And so she has a foundation that kind of keeps his memory going. And she's probably one of my mentors when it comes to the coaching, because she's been coaching. She was an offensive line coach, and now she's a CEO of the the DC Divas out of Washington, DC. And then from there we had Dr. Tabia Pope, and she holds a company called Head to Speech, and it kind of talks along the lines of like a lot of the mental stuff from the game, of the game as well too. And she was featured at was able to host something down at Super Bowl. They had her featured down there because the information and the stuff that she does is so important that she's in with a lot of research and stuff to make the game safer and stuff like that. And so she that's her. Coach Ebony Kimbrough, again, is the only female coordinator in D2. She coaches at Livingstone College, and she also is the owner of a women's tackle football team out of Charlotte. And then we have my girl, Tiffany Roderick. So Tiffany Roderick has another group that I'm in. It's called First and 10. And what she does is she really does a great job of teaching the game. So she'll, like every week in her group, she has at least 2 or 3 times a week, she'll have like a multiple choice question on like, okay, like, what is this play? Is it a quarterback or something like that? But it's always like a multiple choice. And then for knowledge. And then afterwards, she'll give you a couple of days, and then she'll come back with the correct answer. And then she'll give details about that particular subject matter. But it's a great group for women to learn the game. And she's the only group of all the groups that I'm in. That's the only group that actually really, really just teaches women about the game of football. And she also, like if you want to do a special event or something like that, she has like a program where you can purchase and learn that event. But she's really, really good. Don't be brushing me. And then we had Natasha Gransberry. He over here doing me like this. And then we had Natasha Gransberry, and she's an NFL agent out of Houston. She came here. She had a player at EKU that she was following her with, and came and stayed at the house, and we fellowshipped with her.
Yeah.
But she's an NFL agent, but she's also an attorney. And you know what interesting about
some stuff.
Oh, she taught us a lot of stuff. But one of the things about her that I thought was very, very interesting was she's the one that really educated me on non-revenue sports, because she actually earned her scholarship to college by bowling. She had no idea about how to bowl, right? But because they had a roster spot and nobody hadn't filled it, she was able to kind of just get into that role, get a scholarship out of it, and use bowling as a way to pay for college. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then after that, we had Coach Marlene Davis. We call her Coach Dirty. Coach Dirty is the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Slam team. And then we had Tiffany Massey. Listen, Tiffany Massey is the associate athletic director for the University of Kentucky, and her main sport, I think, is like the women's basketball team, and I think something else, but mostly the women's basketball team, because she's always there. And she's married to our guy George Massey.
Yeah.
And I mean, very fantastic. She had a great story about being a young mom and how that didn't prevent her from pursuing her dreams. So it was just very motivating to to have her on the show, and I look forward to having all of these on back at any time. And then after that, we had Valerie Steele. So Valerie Steele, of course, with me being a Kentucky basketball fan, men or women, having her on the show was an absolute a jewel. She has her book out. She also has an event this weekend at the Lexington Opera House in Kentucky with her brother, because her family, the Steeles, did something. Her brother's Art Steele, who played for the Kansas City Chiefs and also played at the University of Kentucky, but they have a big thing with their family, as far as like their family has made like history, is a part of history.
Great.
And then I had one of my nieces, Grace Prince. Her dad is one of my best friends, Ron Prince. And again, it was a great story, hearing her story, because she was a rower at a Loyola out of Baltimore, and just being able to get a D1 scholarship in rowing, I thought was just amazing, because I had never heard of such a thing. So just being able to hear her story from that, and then she did a lot of other great things, and now she's graduated. I think she's living in the DC area, and she's working I think she's a mechanical engineer. And so she's doing big things there. And so that's my niece. Then I had my girl, James of Cleveland. Listen, if y'all are not, or if you're in my Lexington sports family group, she's one of the admins, but it's a spinoff from her group, which is the Sports Mom University. And she was the very, very first person that I know that was talking about NIL before NIL even became a thing. Like, she was saying, it's coming. And you know how you just be listening to people and you just be like, okay. But then when it started coming to fruition, it was like, okay, her credibility shot through the roof, because she knew exactly what she was talking about. She was on the front of it. She also was knowledgeable of all the rules of every state once they came out, because when the state came out, and she was the one telling me about the Kentucky rules and what that meant, and when it was coming out, and what it meant, and how did it work, and all that type of stuff. And it's also coming to high school. It's already came to high school, and it's already come to high school. So she was on the forefront of NIL. But when it comes to recruiting and the recruiting process, she's very, very knowledgeable of that aspect of it. And then I had my cousin Jane Sneed, who, again, her son is Jadarius Sneed, who was the corner, number 38, was the corner for the Kansas City Chiefs, and now for the Tennessee Titans. And then we had our niece, Rachel Clinker. Rachel grew up here in Lexington, Kentucky, went to Takes Creek High School, was a swim at California, and did make it all the way to made it to the finals to make the national team. But she was on Team USA last year. She did make Team USA, so we're definitely proud of her on that. And then we had this young lady named Wynn Flotto, and she is the operating director for the WFA, which is the league that the Derby City Dynamite and the DC Divas are in. It's the largest women's tackle football league and the longest running league. So we have our championship game at the Hall of Fame field every July, and it's good stuff, right? So she was just giving us just information about the league, how to get started, and some of those things, and that was good stuff. And then I had WNBA great Tamika Dixon. So for those of y'all that don't know, I'm a huge Laker fan, but I also like the Sparks too, because they're kind of affiliated. And she played for the Sparks. She played basketball out of the state of Kansas, Rock Chalk. And so now she's a head coach at her alma mater in New Jersey, I believe Linden, New Jersey. And they just completed her first season as a head coach. And then I had Leah Edmond. Listen, Leah was the #1 volleyball player in the nation last year professionally. So the volleyball league just started 2 new leagues, and she was in both of them, and she was on the top of both leagues. They just ran at different times, but she was it was easy. She said she just loved not having to be able to go to overseas to play, because it was just like just like everything else, where most women had to go overseas in order to make some decent money. So she was just very thankful that she was able to play professionally here in the States. And she's on the Atlanta Vibe team. And you guys can go follow her and pull up the Atlanta Vibe. And she's a beast. Her dad is the strength and conditioning coach at the University of Kentucky. She played here at Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Sorry about that, Leah. At Paul Lawrence Dunbar. And was an absolute beast. I definitely need to have her back on, because when we did that show, for some reason, we had a whole lot of technical difficulties and the internet kept going in and out. But I definitely need to have her. But she is a beast.
Yes.
And then I had Joshua Mitchell Cross. She is also in administration. She was like a director of football operations at Jackson State. And then now she's moved to back home to Flint, Michigan, where she's handled a lot of the a Parks and Rec something up there, but she does a lot of stuff with sports as well. And then after that, I had my girl, Coach DeAndre Montgomery, who was an Olympian. She also ran track at LSU. She was actually the first Black female coach at Vanderbilt University, the first Black female track coach, but just Black female coach, period, at Vanderbilt University. And she was their track coach. And then I had Teresa Smith. Teresa had wrote this book right here called Women in Football. And then she had another book. It's like a basics book. So like if you have a child that's just now starting in football, she has a really good book that just teaches you the basics about football.
Right. And the thing I liked about the book, it was simple.
Yes.
She didn't talk.
It wasn't complicated.
She didn't talk over your head. And you got copies?
Yes, I got copies.
Yeah.
I think it might be one over there.
Yeah. And copies, because you had.
No, I got copies. Yes, I have copies. Yes, I have copies.
You had copies, because that's what I liked about the book. It was,
it's very simple.
But it was simple.
Yeah, so really a real good handbook to teach you the game, especially if you have if you want to learn again, or if you're just an adult, especially a female that just really wants to learn the basics of football. Because
well, a lot of males don't know football.
And there's a lot of them. They act like they do.
But
yeah.
they know.
Yeah, they act
but the book is fantastic.
Yes, a great book. Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Said this is a great tribute to those fabulous and fantastic women and gridiron beauties. Hey, what's up? Sparks are going to be good with Plum on the roster. Ooh, I can't believe Kelsey Plum went to especially if Cameron Brink is healthy.
She ain't gonna be.
I think she'll be healthy. And then, and thank you. And she said impressive guest. So, so from Teresa Smith, we went to Coach CJ Taylor, and that's the one that knows Snoop Dogg and was running a program with Snoop's league and got into coaching in California. And then we have Maria Barber. She has a program called Ball Her. Jane, we were just talking about you.
Yes, we were.
And then we had Maria Barber. She's a flag commissioner out at out in Raleigh, North Carolina, and she hosts a girls and a women's flag football league. And so I just really love that too, right? And so then I had Natola Hawthorne. Natola is one of the only females in the whole nation that is an official for football and an umpire for baseball. Yes. And oh my God, that was another great thing. So Mr. Brown, your girl Jane Sneed is on, and Jane, Mr. Brown said that he felt that your show was his favorite show. And so, and then from there we had Dr. Karen Hall. Dr. Karen Hall was a coach out of UNLV and some other places, and she has a book called the 10
leadership, right?
Talking about 10 things about leadership, right? And it's really, really good, and had her on there, and appreciate that. Then I had Susan Montero, who is the owner of the group Black Women Love Football. She's grown the group to 40,000, and then they're also having a meet and greet in Cleveland. The first one they had was in Atlanta last year, and now they're doing another one in July in Cleveland. And Natola Hawthorne and I are on the ballot or whatever,
marquee,
to kind of do a clinic for the women at that. And I'm looking forward to that. And then we had Tracy Davis. Tracy Davis was a player out of Henry Clay and also played at the University of, did she play at Kentucky? I can't remember. I think Tracy played at Kentucky. And she's on the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. And then we had another Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame inductee that was Sherry Balu Agee, and she ran track at Bryant Station, and then at Kentucky, and then she was on a national circuit, and now she owns a flower shop down in the Radcliffe Fort Knox area. And then we had Joanne Pugh. Joanne Pugh has a book. Her book is called The 50-Yard Line Mom. And she had a son that played football, and he ended up having an injury. And so she was also, I think, has teamed up with Tabia Pope with the whole dealing with injury and keeping people safe. And so she's really huge about keeping people safe. I definitely recommend following her and her information if you have an athlete and you want to talk about keeping them safe and that type of stuff. Oh, and her book also talks about being an advocate, and that book is also on all three of these books are on Amazon. And so and then I had Tanya Rice. Tanya Rice is the owner of Rise Up Sports Media. She has a blog. She has a magazine that highlights a lot of the girls here in Kentucky. She's mostly Kentucky based, and she's also a media person. She's does all the UK girls basketball and some of the boys basketball. And then last week we had Coach Jennifer Constable, who's the head coach at Alabama State, the new flag football coach at Alabama State. So that was a long list, boy. It took a while to go through all the.
It
took a while to go through all of that.
And we got
Jane, you still there? I'm gonna send you the link. Tell you to come on.
We got a few ladies that came on for a cameo.
Oh.
And then the objective is
Erica Jackson.
Eric Jackson is we're gonna have them back on.
Yeah, and have a full.
Okay, I'm talking like it's my show, but we're gonna have them back on and tell their story as well, because as you're running down, and I was so fascinated how you remembered ABC, because I remember.
Oh, I remember all of it.
I remember AB, but C and D sometimes got me. But in running down the list of what all these ladies have done and what they can do, and a lot of stuff that you can get aware of what they're doing, you know, and especially this mental health thing is huge, and it means a lot.
Mental health is huge.
But I mean, I'm impressed. And what Jennifer's thing is, the Alabama state coach, has a lot to do with the new flag football.
Yes, the new flag
so
football.
We want to say that, not just a head coach.
Yeah,
she is. Alabama State is made it a. What's the word?
Alabama State is the first D1 to bring on girls flag football. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, women's flag football. So that's huge, and her husband coaches too,
mm-hmm.
and he has a different team, and
they're apart. Yeah,
they're apart.
And, it was a great story.
Eventually, they'll play, mm-hmm. and that'd be great.
Yeah, great story. So let me go back and see what I missed. Less than 60 days to the WFA kickoff. Absolutely, yep, 60 days for the WFA kickoff. We're definitely talking that up as it gets closer to that date. The Carolinas Conference Flag Football program is kicking off. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of teams. So like I said, we talked earlier, Gridiron Beauties, about how Dallas Cowboys just financed 100 teams in Dallas. There's a ACC. It's like a Jane said, I'm not decent. I got my hair. She said, I can't come on. No problem, Jane.
She done told your business.
She said, I believe you have your daughter. I did have my daughter on my birthday.
Thank you, Mr. Cameo.
Thank you, Mr. No, she was actually on like the guest. Yeah, I just didn't I don't know why, how I not put my own child on there. But yeah, my daughter came on there during my birthday, and she actually interviewed me.
Yes, I remember that. I was at baseball.
Yeah,
I got home, and her story is she's
the assistant director of auxiliary services and housing for Governor State University. She's got her bachelor's in public health, her master's in public administration, and now she's in her doctorate program. So
she's doing it.
Yeah, she's doing a thing, and she's an entrepreneur. She's has purchased her first home, was a multi-unit, and she has a rental car business, and she has owns 2 photo booths. And she's gonna get mad at me because she hate when I be telling all her little business. And she's a realtor. But I'm a proud mom. I'm just a proud mom, and so she's just gonna have to get over it because it ain't like she gonna stop loving me or anything like that. So, but I'm just really, 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 really proud of both of my children. Of course, our son is Terri Bryant, who was the played ball at Frederick Douglass High School here in Lexington, Kentucky. He became the Paul Hornick Player of the Year. They won a state championship, and he was the MVP of the state championship game. And then he now plays for the University of Kentucky. He's going into his junior year. And, his first 2 years were really, really good. We just
okay.
No, what's that about? What's the
This his first 2 years were
they were decent. There are lots of players that did not get the opportunity to get on the field and have the amount of playing time. So I'm thankful for the time that he was able to showcase himself.
Yeah, that's my eye.
Because against good teams, he showed out.
He showcased, and plus that leaving high school with a 4.3 GPA.
Yeah, and still
very proud of that.
Making honor roll and the dean list.
The dean list at the University of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
He actually, could graduate in basically 3 years, and because he's pushing himself, and getting a couple of degrees, and shoot for that master's. You're your fourth year. So, like we said, it's both our kids are doing, both of the kids are doing very well. But when I look down this list and I the ladies and it's actually pretty good.
I'm blessed that I know such amazing women.
Yeah, I mean,
to be able to bring them on my show. And oh my God.
So we get to a point.
Let me tell you, can we talk about who's coming?
Okay.
I got 2 people that's coming that I'm so excited about. Yes, I'm hyped.
Okay, but hopefully we get to a point in our world, and I don't know if we'll be here, is that we are not saying, oh, it's a woman, oh, it's a man. And then people start respecting what a person does. And that means a lot. I mean, I say that all the time. You hear me say that all the time. Is, oh, okay, well, if she can coach, I want on my staff. Oh, you can on my staff. Had nothing to do with gender. I mean, if you can make my team better, male or female, it's getting the ladies the opportunity to do that. So I commend all the people who's doing that. That's my intro or lack of to depart.
No, why would you leave me by myself on here?
Well, you got to wind down. I always leave at the end.
But that's usually when I have a guest.
Okay.
Yeah, Benita Crouch, I've reached out a couple of times. I just haven't gotten a response back. Gridiron for Benita. Yes, she is on the list. So speaking of coming up, so next Wednesday is going to be Dr. Lalisa Anthony, who is the founder and co-owner of the Building Lives Through Sports network, who is hosting or hosting our first girls flag camp on March the 22nd. And if you go to my social media page, it's all over it. You can't miss it. But it's a multi-sport camp. We're also hosting football. We're also hosting cheerleading. If there is anybody that wants to come and volunteer, we're still looking for volunteers. We need as many volunteers as possible so that we can help with these kids. One of the things I like about the camp is that, especially for the girls flag, is we have college coaches that are confirmed to be in attendance. There are college coaches that have roster spots available. And I'm really, really hoping that we'll have a couple of girls that have an opportunity to leave the camp with a scholarship offer.
Well, and if they don't.
And if they don't, it's okay.
No,
yeah.
Okay, but no, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. If they don't, the coaches know who they are.
The coaches know who they are.
Okay, because that's recruiting. They got to know who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of times decisions are not made right away. Decision is made on that Monday, or that Tuesday, and they discuss certain things. Because and I have a question on football scholarship. What is it's not one of those. Yeah, well, it could be. Okay.
That's why I said because I know you.
When we keep using the word scholarship, is it like a football scholarship or is it like
it's a flag football scholarship?
No. Let me finish my question.
Sorry.
Is it like a football scholarship or like a baseball scholarship?
It's like a football scholarship.
So it's a full scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Room, books.
As far as I know.
Okay, because baseball gives
it's different, but they're partial.
They get partial, and they get. Well, here's my point: is if you get a scholarship or you get a grant and you ain't got to pay it back, it's a scholarship.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can call it whatever you want to because they said that a lot of times in the Ivy League, and I go, wait a second, they ain't paying it back.
Yeah, it's a recruiting stage with the camps. We talked to a coach. One of the admins talked to a coach and said that when they go to other camps, it's a camp, but they don't really get a chance to see. No, it's games and they're just playing games, but they don't necessarily get to see their skills. So this is going to be set up more like a showcase camp, so that the coaches can actually see the skills. So there's going to be 6 stations. The Derby City Dynamite women that play tackle football, because one thing, let's be clear, tackle translates to flag, but flag doesn't translate to tackle.
True.
Right.
Because if if my girl hits you,
if Angie hits you, it's a wrap. Yeah,
me.
it's a wrap. And so, yes, full scholarship is definitely the deal. And most of these, are, as far as I know, are full scholarships. And so, you know, but they don't translate. So my Derby City Dynamite, the women that play tackle football will be doing the drills because, you know, they know the game a lot more. And then there's just not a lot of girls around that really does women that do, well, most of them also do flag too. Most of them do flag too. And the thing I like about the WF, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this. The WF, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it. They're supposed to be bringing flag too, but anyway. So I'm hoping that that's the case too. Yeah, I'm hoping they're supposed to be bringing that.
Media for a while. Good job.
But just totally looking forward to that. We do have another school in Kentucky that's confirmed with bringing flag. So now we're getting ready to have 3 schools in Kentucky to have flag. I think they're in the process of looking for a coach at the 3rd school. But right now we have Campbellsville University and also Lindsey Wilson that have girls flag in the state of Kentucky.
Well, it's another avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that last week. It's another avenue for young ladies to bond because the thing about sports, I mean, we keep talking about sports. It's huge because you never know what that person's going to turn out to be. And that's a connection that you have when you go to sports. And it gives the ladies another opportunity to, you know, because again, judges, doctors, lawyers, engineers, you know, presidents at banks.
I just love the skills that transfer into real life jobs that you learn from sports. And you hit that dead on the nose, Coach Bryant. But one of the things that I like about flag football, why I think I'm pushing it so hard, is because I'm not saying that it doesn't have the same skill set as maybe other sports, but you might not be fast enough for a track scholarship or you know, I don't know, maybe you're right at the cusp of missing a roster size or something like that with maybe you just don't like soccer or lacrosse or what else we got? Volleyball, we have softball, basketball. You know, there's so many other sports. Don't get me wrong.
Archery.
You know, yes, but it's still just another opportunity, and it adds more scholarship opportunities to the nation to be able to, for kids that might be right there on the cusp to still be able to get an opportunity if they end up learning the game and end up loving the game. And I hope that it takes off. But right now, it's definitely by far the fastest growing sport. And if you watch the Super Bowl, they had a fantastic commercial about it. And most of the girls flag football teams that are coming up right now are being financed by the NFL with NFL flag.
Right.
And then you also have USA flag.
Because, and I say this, and I'm being me as usual, but when you say that, the owners and the people that's helping out, they have daughters. Yeah. And they want their daughter has been around football all the time. I mean, you say that, people say that like they're shocked. No. I mean, that owner has daughters, has nieces and and has granddaughters, and the daughters are around football all the time, and they're around it, and that helps. I'm just saying.
Well, I think that Taylor Swift brought a whole bunch of numbers to the eyes that girls and women that necessarily weren't on football.
Well, and Taylor Swift brought it in because she could have been at bowling and brought it in. Exactly,
that's what I'm saying. She brought a lot of her fan base with her. And so a lot of women and girls ended up falling, liking football just like I do. Yeah. And I don't know how you not like football.
Well, it's a different sport. The coach, the play, it's a mental, physical,
The game is mental.
Well, you start off, the temperature is 110 and you finish is 12.
Yeah.
And
you go from one extreme to the next.
You definitely do.
Yeah, you definitely do. She said Mexico is the best flag football scene worldwide alongside the US. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And I love the opportunities that that both leagues. So there are two women's leagues. There's a WFA, then there's a WNFC, and they're both impacting the flag football scope with coaching opportunities, especially in high school. And I think that was one of the things with some of the girls on my team. I was like, hey, if you guys are interested in coaching, there's probably going to be some coaching jobs coming up because, you guys will have the experience that a lot of even male coaches don't have because they're not coaching football. But like I said, coaching tackle football translates easy to flag football. But if you just only do flag football and then you try to transition into tackle football, it's a little bit harder. We've had a lot of girls that they just don't make it because they didn't like getting hit.
All righty. Well, I did me. Time for me to go.
Well, I'm done. We done.
Are we done? Okay.
Yeah, we
I
done.
stayed the whole time.
You take the whole time this time, finally.
No, but great list, great people.
We've had some
And
great
you just gotta promise
female
that
guests.
some of them or all of them that we're gonna if you're looking to be redundant, bring them back on.
Oh yeah. There'll definitely be some, especially like Dr. Coffee and Tabia Pope and
But even that is.
All of them can actually come on.
Because well, my point is, if you don't know them and all of a sudden they come on, you listen to their story and sometimes you don't process the whole story.
Yeah.
It's like going to the movies.
Yeah.
You watch a movie and you enjoy it, but then all of a sudden you see the movie on TV, Netflix, if you will, and you go, oh, I missed that part.
Yeah.
I didn't know that happened.
That happened, yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But the biggest one is Lake Shaw is happening. I guess I want to say that. And,
what time is it? Because you got some homework to do when we get off.
oh, well, let's get off.
Yep. All right, Gridiron Beauties. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on, Mr. Brown. Thank you for coming on, my cousin Jane. Thank you, baby.
And everybody,
love you.
Thank you for coming on.
Stacy, my girl, right. And my auntie Mary. Because y'all at least showed your face on here. I definitely want to recognize you and anybody else that came on. If you're catching this on a replay, we appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you share, and add people to come on, and make sure you go. And if you're in Lexington, or if you're in the state of Kentucky, someplace with around 50-mile, 100-mile radius of Kentucky State University, we have a great camp coming up on March the 22nd.
All righty.
All right. All right, Coach Bryant. We out. Oh, UK great. Okay, I was making sure I didn't miss anything. Great insights. Gotcha. Okay, good stuff.
Go Niners.
All right, babe. See y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Deuces. Go Niners. Go Niners.